The South Caucasus, often overlooked, is a region rich in history and culture, nestled between Europe and Asia. Yet it is now at the heart of a humanitarian crisis that demands the world's attention. The crisis has displaced thousands, forcing families to flee their homes and seek refuge in makeshift camps. The situation is dire, with limited access to basic necessities like food, water, and medical care. Amidst this turmoil, Vardanyan, a prominent figure known for his philanthropy and dedication to the region, has been detained by Azerbaijani authorities. His arrest has sent shockwaves through the community. The detention of Vardanyan has sparked protests and calls for justice. People are demanding his immediate release, seeing his detention as a symbol of the broader struggles faced by the people of Artsakh. His son David Vardanyan has taken up the mantle, pleading for his father's release. In an emotional speech, he highlighted the personal and collective pain experienced by those affected by the conflict. David's pleas have resonated globally, drawing attention to the plight of Artsakh. International support is growing, with calls for recognition and aid to alleviate the suffering of the people. David's heartfelt appeals underscore the real human lives at stake behind the headlines. These are not just statistics, they are individuals with hopes, dreams, and families. Families are caught in the crossfire, torn apart by the violence. Parents and children are separated, living in constant fear and uncertainty about their future. Children, the most vulnerable, wake up each day to a world filled with uncertainty. Their education, health, and well-being are all at risk as the conflict disrupts every aspect of their lives. Communities are struggling to hold on to hope, showing incredible resilience in the face of adversity. They band together, supporting one another through these challenging times. Ruben's story is about people, not politics. It is a narrative of human endurance, compassion, and the relentless pursuit of justice and peace. Lives filled with hopes, dreams, and fears are now hanging in the balance. The daily struggles and emotional moments of those in the conflict zone paint a vivid picture of the human cost of this crisis. The future remains uncertain for many, with lives in limbo due to the ongoing conflict. Yet amidst the darkness, there is a glimmer of hope that through global awareness and support, a brighter future can be forged for Artsakh and its people.
Vardanyan's detention raises serious human rights concerns. His case has become a focal point for activists and organizations worldwide. Amnesty International and others highlight potential inhumane treatment, emphasizing the need for immediate action and erosion of due process. Legal experts argue that his detention lacks transparency and fairness. The right to a fair trial is fundamental to justice, and presumption of innocence are bedrocks of a just society. These principles ensure that every individual is treated with dignity and respect. Disregarding these principles undermines our shared humanity. It sends a dangerous message that basic human rights can be ignored. The international community must demand transparency and accountability from Azerbaijani authorities. Without this, the integrity of international human rights standards is at risk. The world needs to know the charges and the evidence against Vardanyan. Transparency in legal proceedings is crucial for justice. The lack of clear evidence raises questions about the legitimacy of his detention. The treatment of Vardanyan is a litmus test for Azerbaijan's commitment to the rule of law. How they handle this case will reflect their dedication to justice. History will judge their actions, the world is watching, and the outcome will set a precedent for future human rights cases.
The South Caucasus is a region of complex ethnic tensions. Vardanyan's detention has deepened divides, pushing the region closer to the brink. Now is the time for diplomacy and a commitment to peaceful resolution. The people of Artsakh and Azerbaijan deserve peace and security. The international community must help build a future free from fear and violence. The stakes are too high to allow this conflict to escalate further. The world must act now.
The South Caucasus crisis has far-reaching geopolitical implications. Major powers' involvement and the region's strategic importance make this a global concern. The international community must send a clear message against the use of force for political objectives. Sovereignty and territorial integrity must be upheld. We must use diplomatic tools to de-escalate the situation and find a peaceful solution. The future stability of the wider region hangs in the balance. Let us choose peace and diplomacy.
The human toll of this crisis extends beyond headlines. Families live in fear, separated by borders and divided by suspicion. The psychological impact of displacement and violence is immense. Children are particularly vulnerable, their sense of security shattered. The trauma can last a lifetime, affecting their development. The international community must prioritize humanitarian assistance. Food, water, shelter, medical care, and psychosocial support are essential. We must not forget the human faces behind this crisis.
Civil society in Artsakh is under threat. Vardanyan's arrest has created a leadership vacuum and instilled fear. Targeting civil society leaders is a tactic to stifle dissent. The international community must condemn these actions. We must support independent media and civil society organizations. A vibrant civil society is essential for democracy. It holds those in power accountable and advocates for justice. We must not allow this pillar of democracy to be eroded. The international community's response to the Artsakh crisis has been mixed. Statements of concern are important, but concrete action is needed. The UN, regional organizations, and states must mediate a peaceful resolution. Sanctions and diplomatic pressure should be considered. We have a moral obligation to act against atrocities. The world is watching, and our actions will have lasting consequences. Let us choose to be a force for peace and justice.
Thousands have fled their homes due to the Artsakh crisis. IDPs face immense challenges in rebuilding their lives. Shelter, food, water, sanitation, healthcare, and education are essential. The trauma of displacement takes a heavy toll on mental health. The international community must provide humanitarian assistance. We must support IDPs' long-term recovery. Their stories are a call to action to prevent displacement. We must not forget the IDPs.
Artsakh's cultural heritage is at risk due to the ongoing conflict. These sites, which have stood for centuries, are more than just buildings. They are the embodiment of a rich and diverse history that tells the story of generations past. Targeting cultural sites is a war crime and an attempt to erase history. The destruction of these irreplaceable landmarks is not just an attack on physical structures, but an assault on the identity and memory of a people. The international community must protect Artsakh's cultural heritage. Organizations like UNESCO and various global leaders have a responsibility to step in and ensure these treasures are safeguarded for future generations. Monitoring, condemning vandalism, and providing assistance are crucial. Efforts to repair and restore damaged sites are ongoing, but they require more support and resources to be effective. Cultural heritage connects us to our past and inspires our future. It is through these sites and traditions that we learn about our ancestors and understand the journey that has led us to the present day. We must not allow it to be destroyed. Activists and communities around the world are raising their voices, demanding action to protect these invaluable sites from further harm. The world must stand united in condemning attacks on cultural heritage. Solidarity and collective action are essential in sending a strong message that such acts of destruction will not be tolerated. We must preserve these treasures for future generations. By doing so, we ensure that the stories, traditions, and knowledge of the past continue to inspire and educate those who come after us. The situation in Artsakh is dire but not hopeless. We must raise our voices and demand justice. Contact elected officials, share information, and donate to humanitarian organizations. Every action can make a difference. We must not allow apathy to be our legacy. The people of Artsakh are counting on us. Let us be a beacon of hope and a force for peace. The time to act is now. Vardanyan's story is a reminder of the fragility of peace. We must amplify the voices of those suffering and demand justice. Silence and apathy are not options. We must engage, educate, and act. The people of Artsakh deserve our solidarity and support. Let us choose hope and a future of peace.